I'll say, how are you all this evening of your time as you create time to exist?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Are you all alive?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. We will begin this interaction this evening of your time with the entitlement. Equal explorations. Allow us to explain. When individuals begin to explore other aspects of their consciousness, aspects other than your typical day-to-day, shall we say, representation of their consciousness, the notion arises that there is a spiritual aspect to your being that, in a sense, as you expand, you achieve and strive for, and that this is a higher level of beingness, and you are now down upon a lower level. Perhaps in the aspect of expansion and narrowly focused consciousness, there is a difference. However, from the overall perspective of God, or what we prefer to call all that is, all of these particular explorations are equal in value. There is a great deal of advantage to understanding this idea. The notion does arise that one must deny physicality and achieve spirituality. Allow us to explain the paradox and the irony in this type of thinking. Physicality is an expression of spirituality. It is an equal exploration of consciousness as the more expanded version of spirituality is. Because you have chosen to be physical, there is still the idea of expanding into a more spiritual awareness, but you have chosen the physical exploration for specific reasons. There are specific advantages in physicality. So therefore, if you will begin to equalize and validate equally your physicality to your spirituality, you can begin to allow your physicality to express that spirituality and need not deny the very physicality that you have chosen. Perhaps you do not remember choosing it, but you did. The idea of equality gives you equal access to all things. When you invalidate an idea, paradoxically, you do not give it less weight. You give it more weight. You place attention upon it, and this actually increases its weight. When you equalize all ideas, you truly have equal access to them. This will allow you to understand that although you may establish your preference in any given situation, in any given relationship, or any given event, you need not proceed to invalidate the thing you do not prefer. The process of labeling and establishing your preference is part of self-discovery. The idea of saying that this is me and this is not is part of the process of self-expansion, self-definition, and is, in fact, the discernment that allows you to see who you are. The process of determining this is me and this is not, therefore this stinks, is judgment, is invalidation. As we have just mentioned, invalidation gives more weight, not less weight, to an idea. It holds it, so to speak, in check. So therefore, extrapolating this idea, you can begin to use all ideas, even the ideas you do not prefer. If they have entered your awareness, they can serve you as well. Perhaps it will be simply the notion that the fact that you do not prefer it allows you to define yourself, and that is a service. Perhaps, although you do not prefer many portions of it, there will be some minute aspects of it that is directly applicable to you. So if you will begin to expand your vision and validate everything This does not mean you need to condone something you do not prefer, but at least validate it as a valid expression of reality. You can begin to use all your creations in a conscious way. You have heard the notion and the idea that you create your own reality. And very often individuals will use the idea that I could not have possibly created it. Otherwise, why would I have created that and this and that? But the idea is when you say that, you do not give yourself the opportunity to see how even those things serve you. For everything does. And when you begin to allow all your creations to serve you and begin to continue to create consciously according to preference, not invalidating that which you do not prefer, the momentum of the non-preferential experiences in your life slows down and is replaced, in fact, by the momentum of the preferential experiential reality. Therefore, begin to entertain, if you wish, the notion of validating all realities. If they do not apply to you, you need not in that sense continue to interact with them, but at least be willing to validate them. When you begin to expand your consciousness, you will only do so by using what you've already created, not invalidating it. By expressing your spirituality through the physical, you will use that creation and therefore allow yourself to expand. By denying your physicality, the result is holding yourself in that very physicality. As you expand to the next phase of physical awareness, what we label fourth density, things begin to loosen up a bit. When you enter fourth, so to speak, you will not do so strumming your forehead and saying, whew, thank goodness I've gotten out of third. That is an invalidation of the third. What in fact occurs is you have complete gratitude for what you had chosen to experience and learned in third, and in fact also bring along the recognition that you needed that very experience in order to be in fourth, and therefore it is part of the experience of fourth. When you begin to entertain this viewpoint, you begin to glean positive service from things in your life which you have up till now considered extraneous. The idea is there are no pointless or extraneous creations by definition. If it exists, it exists. If you label it extraneous, you will create an effect that will not allow you to glean from it. But if you will at least acknowledge that it fits and has a purpose, you expand your vision to see what that purpose is. You give yourself at least the option to see the positive purpose. And once you have gleaned it, the symbol transforms. All any symbol in your reality is anyway is a representation or a reflection of an idea. Once you get the message of any symbol that you have created, it transforms. Where things seem to repeat and seem to stay the same is where, in fact, you do not allow this to occur. And you do not glean from it. It comes back again, seemingly in a similar form, saying, please listen, I have a message. If you ignore that message, it comes back again. This is also a seemingness. It is never truly a repeat, but from your perspective, we understand the apparency of the repetition. So you can begin in your reality with things that seem to repeat, which seem to be negative. If you give them the same label, generally an invalidational label, you will achieve the same effect of it seeming to repeat. If you say, all right, I've called this particular negative reality enough. It keeps coming back. Obviously, that's not the message. And begin to look at how it serves you exactly as it is. You will find very many times immediately that you can find how it has been of service to you. And when you do glean the reason for any symbol, it transforms. as you begin to transform one at a time your non-preferential symbols and begin to generate consciously preferential ones, your experience of your life seems to change to only include positive experience. Allow us to also mention that as your consciousness expands, your awareness expands, since you are in a physical reality exploring polarity, positive and negative, your awareness of positivity will expand, but by definition, so will your awareness of negativity. But this is far different, your awareness of a particular idea and your experience of it. Therefore, when you begin to proceed in positive action, though you may be aware of some residual negativity, you will only experience the positivity, and the seeming negativity will be occurring to others, perhaps around you. You will be aware of it, but not experience it directly. It is simple. All it requires is that you begin to use all your creations. You created it all. You also create the notion of an unconscious awareness, and some of the things you create were created from unconscious beliefs. But once you begin to look at these creations and glean positivity from them, you make it conscious. You allow it to deliver its message, and you allow it to transform. You cannot get rid of negativity. You cannot get rid of anything. You are the entire universe, and there is simply no outside. Therefore, where will you get rid of it to? The idea is that you can integrate it and transform it by changing your relationship to it and your interpretation of it. Again, when you provide something with the same label, it seems to have the same effect. When you begin to look at the positive reason that you created it, you get a whole different effect, a positive effect. This also applies to emotions. In the prism that you are, breaking down the white light of infinite creation into each individual that you are, that prism is composed of three sides: belief systems, emotions, and thought. Belief systems establish, shall we say, the blueprint. Emotions are a result of your beliefs, and your thought patterns are a result of your emotions and beliefs. So therefore, anytime you experience any emotion, it always ties directly back to a belief. This is quite an empowering notion, for it enables you to, shall we say, make a little bit more sense out of what you label negative emotionality. For you can simply ask yourself, what must I believe to be feeling this? And if at that point you will allow yourself to be honest with yourself and glean the beliefs that you hold, then you can change the ones you do not prefer. But you can only change beliefs if you first acknowledge them, if you first own them. So therefore, the first step will be bringing it from your unconscious awareness to the conscious. And you can utilize your negative events, negative emotionality to key you in to beliefs. As we have recently shared, the idea is your liabilities become your greatest assets and your greatest opportunities for growth. Therefore, equalizing all your explorations gives you back your power and your equal access to choose the thing that you truly prefer. At this timing, allow us to share that what is occurring before you is a blended energy. Bashar, the designation which some of you are familiar with, is one aspect of the blending. Another aspect of the blending is another individual contemporary to Bashar, and we have chosen the referential name, Elan. Therefore, as we proceed to the sharing, the interaction between us, you may refer to this energy before you as either. It's up to you. Allow us to thank you for your willingness to begin to explore many of the aspects of your consciousness that you have kept, shall we say, under the surface. This can be an exciting exploration for you all. And again, your willingness to equalize ideas will accelerate it greatly. And you may find you will go very fast in the direction you say you prefer. Therefore, in expressing our unconditional love and appreciation for your willingness to explore and co-create this interaction with us, we ask you now, how may we be of service to you? Sharing